up is the midpoint formula. So from the midpoint formula, what is midpoint again? Middle point. Okay. How in math, how do you find the middle of something?
With the formula.
You split it in half? Okay. How would you find half of something? Okay. Alright. I want you to think of this as finding like the average, if you will. Okay? You're going to find the average between your points, right? Because it's the middle, it's the average, is half of it. So your formula is m equals x1 plus x2 all over 2. So again, you're going to add the x's, divide by 2. That's going to give you your average of the x's. And then do the same thing with the y's. y1 plus y2 divide by 2. That is how you find the midpoint or the average of your points. So let's try one. Number 4. What are the x values? 7 and 9. Okay, so I like to split it up. This is just Miss Howell. I do the x first and then I do the y next. Okay, I don't like doing it all at once. It can get confuzzling. So let's see, what are the x coordinates again? X coordinates.
7.
So I'm going to do 7 plus 9 divided by 2, right? What's 7 plus 9?
16.
What's 16 divided by 2?
8.
There you go. So that's the 8 part of your coordinate, or that's the x part. Now do it all over again for the y's. So what are the y numbers?
-5 and -1.
So -5 plus -1 over 2. What's -5 plus -1?
-6.
Divide by 2.
-3.
Okay, now, again, this is a midpoint, which means you should be writing your answer as a point. So if you're going to write it as a point, it should be...
8, -3.
Yay! That would be your final all done answer as a point. And that's kind of it. So, how we feel? We'll be fine. We're just going to make it a little bit harder. So, when you look at number 6, it says you're finding a missing endpoint. In other words, if I drew a little picture. You see how they told you we have segment or AB? Oh, come on. Let's try this again. All right, so we have A and B, and then M is in the middle, right, for the midpoint? Okay, they told you the midpoint is at -1, 2, right? And then they told you that B is at 3, -5, right? Oops. All right, what part are you missing? A. So, normally, that would be the part that you're adding and dividing by 2, right? Okay, so this means you have to go backwards. Ooh. Okay, so to go backwards, again, I still split it up. I do x on one side, then I do y next. So if I do the x's parts, right? What is the x coordinate of the point they gave you? 3. And then we don't know the other one, right? So I'm going to do 3 plus x over 2 equals, what's the x coordinate of the midpoint?
-1.
-1. All right, now you got to solve that. So what would you do? Multiply by 2 on both sides. Fun fact, that should be the same first step for every one of these. So the 2's cancel. So you get 3 plus x equals -2. And then you got to make the 3 go away, and you should get x's.
-5.
Yay. All right, do it again, but with the y numbers. Okay. All right, so again, for the y part, what is the y coordinate that they gave you? -5. And we don't know the other one, right? Right. Okay. So I'm going to do -5 plus y over 2 equals, what's the y coordinate of the midpoint? 2. All right, what did Miss Howell tell you to do next? Will that step ever change? No. If you don't do that step first, oh, congratulations, you just got the whole problem wrong. Don't do that. Okay. So I need negative 5 plus y equals, I'm gonna hope all of you know 2 times 2. Cool. All right, and then we should get y is 9. So what ordered pair was this for? A. So we're going to say that A is at negative 5, comma 9. Okay. Questions about that one? Yes? No? Maybe? Cool. All right. Now we're going to add algebra to this.
Yay.
Yay. But it's only going to be midpoint ones, so this should be easy. Okay. So this is just practicing what we've done before. So if something says it's a midpoint, what does that mean?
It's in the middle.
It's in the middle, and your two halves are, I heard one person, equal. There you go. Okay, so if it says that it's the midpoint of x, y, and your midpoint is p, so that means that xp and py are what? Equal. So this guy equals that guy, right? Did they tell you what xp is? Yes, it's right here. Did they tell you what py is?
Yes.
Yes, it's right there. So what are you gonna do with those?
Add them.
You're gonna add them. Why?
Because you have to make them equal to xy.
Do you know what xy is?
xp equals py to find x.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what xy is, so you can't do
yeah,
that.
you're right.
Okay. All right, so let's do it. 8x minus 2 equals 12x minus 30. Oh, this is gonna be fun. All right. Now what?
Subtract 8x.
Okay. So subtract 8x, and we should get negative 2 equals.
4x minus 30.
Okay. Then what?
Add 30 to both sides.
And I should get 28 equals 4x, and then you should get x is 7. Is that the end of the question? Well, what does it say? Find the. Is that what we found? So then we're done. Okay. There's going to be a couple on your homework where they ask you to find the actual like length of the line. Okay, like in number 10. Okay. Questions about that?